What makes PUBG stand out from other war games is the fact that you can encounter weapons from different eras. For instance, you can parachute onto a place where there is nothing but an ancient gun such as the Nagant 1895, and if you're good enough to survive with this challenging revolver, you can move on to other places where you can get your hands on some of the most high-tech weapons such as the DP-12, which is one of the most advanced shotguns out there. However, in this video, we're gonna be turning a blind eye to the modern guns because we want to focus only on those weapons that have had an impact on our history, and by that, I'm referring to those guns that were used in iconic wars and battles that took place sometime back in history. So without any further ado, here are the most historical guns in PUBG. Number 1. The Winchester 94. The history of this rifle began 1 year prior to its production in 1893, when Winchester's ammunition division began experimenting with new smokeless powder, and it is called smokeless to distinguish it from the traditional black powder, which was the only one that was available at that time. The idea behind the smokeless powder is that it contained more energy that would make bullets travel further, allowing hunters to target animals at a much further range. The problem was, Winchester needed a rifle capable of handling the new smokeless powder. That's when John Browning came in, one of the most successful firearms designers of the 19th century, and designed the Model 94 we all know today. The rifle became an instant success among hunters thanks to its lightweight, compact design, and precision. Its success was pushed even further when it was used by the US Army in World War I, and got even more popular when the Canadian Pacific Coast Rangers used it against the Japanese invasion in World War II. Number 2. The Tommy Gun. Also known as the Annihilator, is an American submachine gun invented by General John Thompson in 1917. At that time, the US had yet to join the First World War, but Thompson knew that the US military was in desperate need for updated weapons to compete with the European powers. For that, he began working on a gun that would be capable of rapid fire without manual reloading, and at the same time being light and portable. Unfortunately for General Thompson, the war had already ended by the time the first shipment of the submachine guns was ready. However, only 2 decades later, the Tommy gun was adopted by the US military, serving during the Second World War and beyond. Number 3. The SKS. The SKS is a Soviet semi-automatic carbine designed in 1943 by Sergei Semenov. Despite being designed during World War II, the manufacturing began right after the end of the war and was officially adopted by the Soviet Army in 1949. Only 6 years later, the SKS was quickly taken out of Soviet frontline service and was replaced with the AK-47 because the latter was better designed, lighter, had 3 times the magazine capacity, and had the potential to be less labor-intensive to manufacture. Nonetheless, to this day, the SKS is still being used by civilians, hunters, and even by some ceremonial Russian honor guards. Number 4. The Carabiner 98K. It is without a doubt that this rifle is one of the most impressive snipers that has ever been invented. The Kar 98K was introduced by German arms manufacturer Mauser in 1935 and was quickly adopted by the German Wehrmacht in World War II. Because of its incredible reliability, great accuracy, and effectiveness, many Allied forces including the Soviet Union and France used the Kar in the years following the end of the war. Number 5. The DP-28. The original name of this weapon is the Degtyaryov machine gun, named after its designer and renowned Russian engineer Vasily Degtyaryov. However, the Red Army soldiers informally called it the DP because the disc-shaped magazine resembled a record player. The DP-28 was the primary light machine gun of the Soviet troops during World War II and was also equipped in aircrafts and pretty much all Soviet tanks. Despite its effectiveness and large magazine capacity, there were lots of downsides to this weapon, such as the ease with which the pan magazines would damage while being carried, and of course, the difficulty and the time it takes to reload the weapon, which is already a meme among PUBG players. Number 6. The R1895. Originally known as the Nagant M1895, is a revolver designed and produced by Belgian industrialist Leon Nagant for the Russian Empire. The production began in Liège, Belgium, but Russia quickly purchased the manufacturing rights in 1898 and moved production to the Tula arsenal in Russia. Since then, the M1895 was extensively used by the Russian Imperial Army and later by the Soviet Union. In Russian service, it was known for its extreme sturdiness and durability. As one former Imperial Russian officer stated, if anything went wrong with the M1895, you could fix it with just a hammer. The revolver achieved cult status in Russia throughout the decades, and it continued to be used for so many years among the Russian police forces. As a matter of fact, it was only in 2009, that is over 110 years later, when the M1895 was officially retired from use in the Russian Federation. Number 7. The QBU. The QBU was developed by the Chinese company Norinco for the People's Liberation Army in 1997, but its history can be traced back to the Sino-Vietnamese War in 1979, when the Chinese forces entered northern Vietnam and captured several cities near the border. During that brief war, the Chinese forces managed to capture samples of the Soviet-designed Dragunov sniper rifle, then copied and perfected it throughout the years until it resulted in the QBU that we know today. Number 8. The sawed-off shotgun. Also called Lupara, is a double-barreled shotgun whose barrels and buttstock have been cut off after fabrication. The sawed-off shotgun was invented by shepherds in Sicily to protect their livestock and to hunt wolves, and hence the Italian name Lupara, which means for the wolf. Unfortunately, this weapon gained popularity amongst the Italian organized crime group dominant in Sicily for their use in their vendettas, mob assassinations, and defense. In fact, this shotgun was predominantly used against Mussolini's army when he decided to break up the Sicilian mafia network back in 1924. The Lupara was introduced in the United States by Sicilian immigrants in the 19th century and instantly gained popularity amongst gangsters there too. For that reason, the fabrication and possession of the sawed-off shotgun was quickly made illegal in many countries by the early 1930s.
The gangster empire began to crumble, and week by week saw more faces going through the routine preparatory to a long stay in the pen.
Are there other historical guns that aren't available in PUBG and should be included? Let me know in the comment section below. For more, make sure to like the video and subscribe to GameLution.